the Check-In and Chat podcast, brought to you by Big Bear Marketing and the Hotel Growth Framework. Welcome to the Check-In and Chat podcast, episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about how hotels can drive direct bookings and the importance of setting a good foundation in order to get a good, sustainable hotel marketing system in place. So that you can get long-term, sustainable, predictable growth, which is always a good thing to have. So we're going to cover a few things. We're going to look at sort of clients we've worked with, things that we see that work, tools that you have at your disposal as hotel marketers in order to help generate more growth, more direct bookings, and also keep that sustainable to help level out the peaks and troughs. So you're not having those high seasons and low seasons, maybe try and sort of blend that or lower the peaks on both of those. Yeah. So we're going to do that. I'm joined with Izzy today. Hi, Izzy. Welcome back. Welcome back. You may remember from episode 1 or not. Remember to like, subscribe, watch, comment, get involved. If you have any comments at the end, if you agree, disagree, have any insights that we can all share amongst us hotel marketers, that'd be wonderful. Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit about the pain point. Why do we need these to drive direct bookings, and what's behind that, Izzy?
To talk about this topic to begin with, I think it's important to note that direct marketing is becoming more and more important, and there's multiple channels in terms of what direct marketing means for hotels. I think it's something that drives the new guests, but also drives that retention and returning rate of your current guests in the hotels. The biggest sort of issue we've noticed, and something that I think is making direct marketing even more important, is the impact that OTAs are having on hotels and how much they're costing them in the first place. Not only hotels are they using a profit margin to the OTAs, they're also losing that guest data, which is an integral part to be running a really good direct marketing campaign or having a direct marketing strategy in place to begin with. So I think that's why direct marketing is really important. It's something that means that you own your guest data, you know your guests inside and out, you are aware of their anniversaries, of their birthdays, you're aware of their preferences when they're staying at your hotel, and that makes you market to those people better and also reach more of the similar people that are going to have the same traits basically and are going to spend the same amount of money at your hotel. So direct marketing, it's really, really important part of hotel, how it functions.
I think that is a reoccurring theme as well. It's like most hotels you speak to, it's we should be doing that. We should be doing the anniversaries. We should be doing those reminders. But for some reason they don't. So would you say that's a reoccurring thing that you see?
Yeah, it's a very common pattern. And I think, yes, everyone will say that they should be doing it. And I do understand the challenge behind it, especially when you're, as a hotel, using multiple channels to market yourself and multiple ways to get a sale or a booking in. You do have points where that data kind of gets neglected and lost, and it doesn't communicate all throughout your reservations team to the people maybe that are sending the post-stay emails. So I think that's where that pattern is. People are losing a visibility of that whole guest journey. Whereas if you had it yourself and it was somewhere stored in a very organized system and segmented in the right way, doing those anniversary kind of reminders or these personable things will be a lot easier process. So I would say it's the fact that people and hotels don't own their guest data. That's where it falls short to sort of do more with it afterwards.
So a little bit I know we reflected a little bit on the OTAs, when the bookings come through the OTAs, you lose a little bit of that, don't you? You lose a bit of that, why are you inquiring Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Oh, actually, we're here for anniversary. Oh, great. So so then you have people who may be there. I know we're talking just about anniversaries, birthdays, or whatever, but you end up with people in your hotel that may be there celebrating those things, but actually the staff are totally blissfully unaware just because you don't know.
Exactly. And those engines as well will not share that data with you. That is obviously something they own and they use for their own marketing purposes. That although that is a guest staying in your hotel, it's actually a guest or a client of their platform. So you don't, for most occasions, these hotels don't even know the email for that guest. The only thing they know about it is it came from booking.com. So it's straight away, you are no one to that hotel guest, I think, in my opinion.
And even the OTAs don't know that, do they? Because obviously people are just booking through their system, and it's because it's not a human-to-human system at all.
No.
There is no discussion around those things or the reason for your stay. Why are you booking this hotel? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, when we talk obviously about OTAs and everything, I think there's a few tactics and sort of there's a few things I think as hotel marketers we're missing when it comes to direct booking. And I think the reason those things are missed it is because there's obviously this massive OTA engine going on in the background. So, I mean, it'd probably be good to hear from you. What do you think as hotel marketers we're missing when it comes to direct marketing?
Yeah, the big thing I see that hotel marketers are missing out, and anyone working in that field, it's having ownership of the data and knowing your data. And my background's data. I've been in data analytics marketing for decades, but you really need to understand, you need to know your data, you need to know what you're looking for, and you need to really understand it, because the devil lies in that data. And that's things like, you need to know how many people are starting checkouts, how many people are dropping off, how many people are completing as well. Whereas I think, the underused bit is that data, because everyone looks at the bit that converted, that did the booking, but really that there's a pot of gold that lies in that other percentage that for some reason dropped off at some point, the great drop off, they should call it. But it's just like in there lies a really wonderful piece of data.
Yeah. And I suppose that relates to the marketing tactics that with this we're missing as well and are underused. As you said, what do we do with those 20% that haven't converted? There's huge opportunity, right? What would you say people are missing on there?
It'll be more. I mean, in terms of there'll be more people that don't convert than do convert, because that, people are searching for prices or doing whatever. But really the tactic there is having the booking engine or the booking system that you've got there, flagging that and then messaging those people in some way to either, actually you left something in your basket, you left something at checkout. And some of the booking systems are fantastic at this. But those people that don't have that, I wish I sold booking systems because it'd be easier to talk about. But having that system is really good. But in order to do that in the first place, you need to know the data and you need to flag those drop-offs. And then what you could be doing there is those people that started a checkout but didn't proceed anywhere, then maybe actually remarket to those people via Google ads or social media ads to, sort of say, oh, you started this, do you want to carry on,
Yeah.
and trying to glean off those people as well. So actually, why didn't you book? That's, surveys can be really beneficial there as well. So it's like, actually, we can see that you started to check out. We can see that you didn't complete your purchase today. Like what was the reason? Just ask people.
I think something that's obviously a bit forgotten when it comes to direct marketing as well is that you could, because obviously we have different platforms such as your website, you have your own social media. I think there is a little bit of people forget that the data that lays in your social media, it's not communicating at some point with your website data or your Google Ads data. So why do you think people need to kind of consider remarketing? Why should you advertise to the same person on Google Ads and maybe try and find them on social media? Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. So in order to get someone to check out in the first place, you need to have awareness. Like you need to get in front of that person. So you have your awareness channels. So like social media ads, for example, are very good at getting in front of a lot of people for not a lot of money. So then, you can get in front of, I don't know, it depends on hotel to hotel, but you can get in front of thousands of people for like £10. So then you want to run your social media campaigns to really drive that awareness. It gives you a wonderful opportunity to show off video content of like what your property is all about, what your offering is, show them the spa, the restaurant, sell them on the dream. And then that awareness then creates the interest, because then that person might go, actually, I've heard of this hotel in the Cotswolds. I'm now going to Google it. So then at that point, the chance of someone seeing something on Facebook and checking out there and then is very slim. It can happen, but it's slim. But then what people will do then is they'll then go and research, and then they'll move over into Google, and then they'll be searching for something like this hotel or luxury hotel Cotswolds, for example. But the smart thing to do is to share the data between social media, so your Facebook ad, for example, and share that with your Google Ads campaign, because you can actually share the same data and vice versa as well. So those people that come through and click an ad on Facebook, you can then re-advertise to on Google. Those people that come through on an advert on Google, you can then re-advertise to on Facebook, for example. So then rather than running things siloed, that's like a really good way of doing it. And then you're just making the most out of it.
I think that's exactly what builds a really effective direct marketing system, because all of a sudden, this data set that you might have, let's say one guest email that you have, that you think, this is only worth to me one booking. All of a sudden, you are multiplying that. As soon as you're trying to find those lookalike audiences, you're tracking people across multiple different channels that you own. I think that's becoming a really well-oiled engine of not only using that data to its fullest, maybe getting that person to stay 3 times with you rather than the one time if they were to come from an OTA, you're also finding the same people with the same interests like them. And I think you're just building that knowledge about your guests as well. So then you become more aware, what kind of offers should I put in place?
Yes.
What are all these people? What do they have in common? What are they searching for? What kind of package I might put in place for them? Are they all someone that's going to book an afternoon tea as well as stay at my hotel? Are they seeking more of an adventure stays? So I think it gives you a lot more information that you can play with and build upon in your business.
And the devil is in the data, because what you want to do, like you just said there, it's like you could even, going back to the Google ads, Facebook ads thing, you could then say, actually, I'm going to run this type of ad, this message to people who have opened my outbound email campaign. And it's like, actually, these people opened the summer special offer campaign. I'm now going to broadcast to them a summer special offer advert. But then the way you do that is by using the data that you've kind of gathered through your email list.
Exactly.
So then you're giving people different offers for different things. Or if you see that anniversary stays, again, it's another good way of doing it. But what I'm saying is, once you know that data, once you can segment your audience into what they came for, couple A, they came for 2 nights and they stayed for dinner. Couple B came for 1 night, but they went to the spa. All of a sudden, you can start sending these different targeted messages to the right people. So rather than just blanket email everyone saying, hey, come and stay at a wonderful hotel, which is wonderful, you're then going, actually, Izzy, come here, come and stay for a night, and there's a spa offer on if you want to book again.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Come here, stay for 2 nights and get 10% off dinner or whatever. So all of a sudden the messages become really clear.
Yeah. And I suppose it all leans to that fact that hotels usually don't just have a hotel. They would have a restaurant, maybe a spa, maybe some sort of event or something else as an addition to just being a hotel simply with a room. And this is where segmentation becomes really important. And I think as a case study, we're going to, I suppose, speak about some of our clients which do this really, really well. They basically generate highest returns when they know how to utilize their segmentations within the email channels, and then they pass this data on to the Google ads, and we're just creating this kind of like a loop of information. But yeah, the results people are seeing, especially thinking about Black Friday time when the gift vouchers were something really popular, they were returning like £70,000 just from one email campaign, and that is crazy and really good.
And I think that's what marketers have to get their head around in the way that advertising and direct marketing works these days. Is like, actually, I need to build this data set. So it's like this, and you can't necessarily always see it unless it's email addresses. But what you've got is this like cloud-based database, some kind of Jarvis Iron Man style database that just floats in the ether. And what you want to be doing is like, there's all my Facebook data, there's all my Google Ads data, there's my social media data, there's my email data. But then what you can do out of that big conglomerate of stuff is then share that across every single platform. So you end up with this like really cool, but it's like this really cool data that you can then start pulling on. Whereas if you do it the other way, so it's like, well, I only run Facebook ads to Facebook people, I only run Instagram ads to Instagram people, I only do Google ads. So if you silo all of those things, that's like almost like the old way of doing things. Whereas now what you need to be concentrating on is like building that data set and then utilizing that across the platforms.
Yes. And I think, I suppose, as we forget that these softwares and platforms don't actually know the data that we know internally as a hotel. If you have a CRM that's not sharing the same information with each platform, it's a disconnect in there. And I think it's like trying to go back to basics of like, let me teach my social media about platforms, for example, about what I'm trying to do, who my ideal guest is, what they look like. And as you say, it might not be data information in terms of an email, a name of that person, but it's the traits, what these engines know. They know what that person searched for before, what kind of things are they interested in, what time of the day maybe they're using their phone to be doing like bookings or searches. Maybe every year they're searching for holiday on the same day at the same time, and that is something that engine can kind of utilize and help you get more out of it.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way of explaining that is like, if you have historical data, let's say you've got 2 or 3 years data, a year's data of hotel guests that have stayed with you, and you have their email address, it's like the first thing you should be doing as a digital marketer, going, right, I'm going to add that to Google Ads. And what that's going to tell Google Ads, like, hey, Google Ads, here's a list of everyone who stayed with me. Here are my ideal clients that have stayed with me for the last 12 months. What I want you to do is go out and find more people like these people. So it's just all of a sudden then you're using that data to direct that Google Ads in that instance to go and do that thing. Then you can do the same thing in Meta and Facebook, Instagram. It's like, here's my clients. These are the people I want. Go and find me some more of these. And then what you're doing then is, rather than shotgunning and I call it spray and pray, rather than just advertising to everyone and their dog, you're going, go and find me these people. These are the people.
These are my people, sort of thing. These are my guests.
Yeah, so it's just how you can utilize, and that's just using like email. That's one part of it. And that's just like the easiest way I can explain, like how you can leverage your email database, for example, to do other stuff.
And I think it's good because now we can kind of touch upon the thing that we can give people, I suppose, a little bit of advice on what they can do today, and a few different areas I think that are important to touch upon, I suppose, and maybe explain in our way on how can you utilize these things. I think it's loyalty offers, PPC or pay-per-click, and also email or email automation. So how do you think each of these things can help into this direct marketing journey? Let's maybe start with loyalty offers.
Yeah, so I think with the loyalty offers, it's like there's obviously a difference between like a special offer and a loyalty offer. But when you've got a loyalty offer, really what I'm doing is I'm sending that to people who have stayed previously. You've shown loyalty, you've been here a few times, you've spent some good money with us. I'd love for you to come back. And I think it's having, like I said, going back to, like, if I know you came and dined in the restaurant twice, I know you like the restaurant. So it's like, actually come back and get, 10% off your restaurant bill. And it's just giving like specific offers to specific people. And then obviously then you can use your email automation almost, because I know that data, I can send them that type of offer. So then that ties into your email automation. And then again with your PPC, you could then run a campaign about your restaurant offer potentially to that group of people.
Yeah. It basically all channels really can communicate to themselves. So I think people and especially hotel marketers need to get something in their heads very clear, and that is that one piece of data is super valuable. So if you can capture that one piece of data, if you're doing your marketing right, you can reuse and generate more out of it. And I think that's obviously like, actually, rather than working on getting new guests, new people constantly, actually working harder on getting people to return is what's going to give you probably a bigger profitability. And one of our clients as well, Devon, they see a lot of generational people coming back. So the grandparents love the hotel, so they've stayed there. Their children, when they were young, these children are now parents with their own children, so they keep coming back. And I think that's what a successful guest journey looks like. Having someone keep you front of mind, know your brand for decades. That's profitability to me.
Yeah, it's that long-term sustainable, knowing that generations are going to come back is a wonderful thing. Exactly that. So how do you, like, if you were going to start, like if you want more direct bookings for your hotel, I guess the first thing you need to kind of get over is like where do you start? So I always think that like you need to start by looking at your direct marketing as an investment channel. So it's like, it's not, oh, I've got to go and spend this much money. Obviously, you have to go and spend money, but it is a cost. But it's a cost to get you something very, very valuable. And I think, obviously, marketers need to know that. You need to know that, actually, I'm investing this money into getting a thing. But I think the hardest thing is also then selling that into the general manager or the hotel manager, whoever's getting that final say. At the end of the day, everyone sees it as a cost on a spreadsheet. And I think it's trying to win people over. So actually, this is an investment into what we're doing, what we're trying to grow. We're trying to grow this data. We're trying to grow all these things. Yes, we might do things and day one we won't get anything, but the data we're getting is going to be super valuable. So, like, where would you? So, is that where you would start? Is it a mindset thing to start? If you just start, let's say you're starting tomorrow, where do you start?
I first of all think a lot of hotels are missing of actually setting up points of where you collect data. So I would say you need to go back to like look at the whole picture of like every touch point that people have with you. What are the points you collect data? It's literally the simple things, probably the technical things of like Does your website have a form that can be tracked? Is that getting stored somewhere? Or are these all inquiries going to a separate email somewhere in the company and no one deals with it? And yes, 100% it's a mindset shift, because you need to, that thinking about direct marketing as an investment, it's crucial, I think, to get even anyone on your business to sign up into this like idea of actually we're trying to grow sustainably. Especially I see it, it's like hotel marketers, ourselves included maybe, I don't think we're very good at building our business case from the bottom up. The business case of actually collecting this data is that all the opportunities you can do with it afterwards. And instead of going, my ROI of this one campaign is this, actually the ROI of digital marketing and direct digital marketing is the fact that you're building your brand equity and talking about the brand more, that increased awareness, that increased recognition. And as we say always, like, instead of people searching then for hotel in London, I know exactly what hotel I know in London. That's the hotel I'm going to search for. So I'm going to search the brand name.
One of the lines I coined or came up with the other week is like bookings don't happen by accident. So it's just like, no, luck is not going to fill your hotel. It's like you're going to have to be doing a thing, some kind of action in order to get it. It's like it doesn't happen by accident. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden your hotel's at 100% occupancy.
And that's another thing that I've seen a lot, especially on the social media side. People think that going viral, it's a strategy. It doesn't work like that. And even if you do go viral, and I know this first-hand experience, it could mean nothing at the end of the day. It could mean no bookings, but you have a viral video. And I think it's that kind of, in terms of, if you really want to do direct marketing really well, stop thinking about the vanity metrics. Stop thinking more about the sustainable, the long-term plan there. Don't put these KPIs that are just going to limit you in a way of, oh, we need you to get 100 clicks. It really doesn't reflect on how you want to proceed and grow.
Yeah, I think if I was to start tomorrow fresh with a hotel and the marketing, I'd be looking at actually the website data. I think I reflected on it earlier on this episode. It's like, I think you really need to start being right. Who's falling off of our current journey? Like, who are we attracting? How many of them are booking and how many of them are falling off? And I think where I would start my direct marketing is those people that are falling off. So rather than go and try and find all these wonderful new guests from all over the place, it's like, actually, let's look at what we're working with currently. And that's where I would start. So like looking at your drop off, from visiting the website through to the checkout process, looking at, add heat maps to your website if you need to see where people are clicking, see where they're having frustrations. But definitely use like your analytics data to find out those people that aren't, for whatever they're looking, but they're not buying.
Yeah.
And it's those lookers but not buyers who you should be marketing to first, because that's your warm audience. Whereas if you go and do, your Google ads, Facebook, old school, you're literally reaching out to cold people who may have never have heard of you before. So that's where I would start.
Would you suggest that, obviously we know loads of hotels actually use like a booking engine or like a booking system. Do you think that needs to be audited as well? Like, is there anything that booking engine might be like hiding in the background that might be super valuable?
I think so. I think we're not booking engine providers, so I feel like I can say this. Some of them are amazing. They've got like literally step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 of the checkout, so you can measure each drop off and each bit. Other hotel booking systems are absolutely terrible, and as a user, they're like hard to use. It's making sure that you've got something, and I worked in user experience for many, many years. It's like, and conversion rate optimization, which is another boring data subject. But what your journey needs to be is it needs to be frictionless. So there's no point doing all of this effort, this front-loaded marketing effort, drumming up all this attention, driving up all the brand awareness, getting the clicks through to your website. They land on the website. It looks beautiful. Everything's good. You've got your hero video image, drone tours. It's brilliant. You've sold the person, only for the guest or potential guest to then get to your booking system and go, yeah, done.
Yeah.
Because I can bore everyone on these podcasts. Great, because I can just talk about what I need to talk about. But so for every negative action, so let's say I get frustrated at one point on the website, it takes 3 positive actions to make up for it. So every time there's that little bit of frustration, that's like our button's not clicking, or I can't work out how to select the dates, you then have to do 3 or 4 things to make it good with those people, like mentally, from a user behavior point of view. So it's just so important to have that checkout that is seamless. I can check out easily. And I guess there's an argument there like, well, that one's cheaper than that one. But it's like, go for the one with the best experience and the best least friction.
Yes, because
But
I think
also go for the checkouts where you can measure everything. I need to know how many people are starting. I need to know the drop off. I need to know at what point they're falling off, because actually your marketing might not be broken at all. The website might not be broken at all, but it's that pinch point at the end
yes.
where people could be just banging their heads against the wall, trying to make a booking on your website, but giving up and going somewhere else.
And I think my advice to hotels in terms of the auditing side as well is like, I think you need to do this very regularly. And I think that's where we fall short. Actually, this doesn't happen as often. And it doesn't happen from like an outsider perspective, because I think sometimes internally you can be a bit biased and a bit, I've created this page, it looks amazing, it's exactly what people want. But unless you get that data and outsider sort of look into it, and people that are expert in that industry and in that specific category, you're just very biased making decisions of what people want to see.
I think as marketers, you can get, and I'm thinking of this as we're talking, obviously, it's like, it's very easy to kind of look at the, how many clicks do we get this month to last month? How many impressions? Yada, yada, yada. But it's like, really, the metric you want to know is like, how many people started a checkout and how many finished? Because you might drive 10 times the amount of traffic, but didn't get the conversion at the end. So it's just that maybe that's something that as marketers, hotel marketers, we need to be a bit more up on as well as a metric that we report. So it's not just the vanity, lovely, wonderful clicks, impressions, how much cost per click, what's my click-through rate, all those things. That actually this month we had more people start a checkout than last month. And it could be that all your traffic's actually down, but you had more people wanting to make a booking.
And I think I now can remember an example of, in a different industry, actually, one of our clients, where their conversion rate from inquiry to an actual sale was about 0.5%. And it was so shocking. It's like, it doesn't matter how much we try and increase the traffic, you're never going to see that number at the end. And it's actually, instead of with this data that you have, analyze it and work towards increasing that percentage rather than trying to get top of funnel to constantly keep increasing, because that's not always the solution, is it?
Yeah, and I think that's always the go-to. It's like, we need more people, more clicks, more top of funnel people. A caveat to that, you can never have too much brand awareness. But yeah, it's about looking at those things internally, having a long, hard look at yourself and going, actually, we're doing all this effort, doing all these things. We're just spinning our heels. So it's just getting a bit more, getting that conversion rate up as high as you can. And those people you can't convert on site, try and get to them via email, via the other channels.
I think this leads nicely as well into actually the long-term advantage of direct marketing and that data collection, I suppose. It's over time, you're going to become someone, let's say over a year, you've been collecting every single data point about these people, what they like, what they do. You do need to stop and review that. It's not just collecting for the sake of collecting and doing nothing with it. I think we're obviously quite data geeks about things, but in direct marketing, you need to reflect constantly on the data that you collect. What is that telling you? We've had first-hand examples of running spa ads, for example, and spa campaigns, and they were outperforming any other campaign ran on that count. So stopping and looking at the data, if the data tells you that's where you should invest into, you just put more money into it.
You're absolutely right. We have had those scenarios where the restaurant campaign in Google Ads is driving more hotel bookings than the brand and the other. And you go, actually, that's really good. But it's not like a set and forget. And then the next month it swung the other way.
Yes.
And then it was like the spa driving things, but it can do it. And I think it's the real importance of, or the role that direct marketing plays within driving a hotel bookings is really, it's like, first of all, we need to make it as predictable as possible. It's not a very predictable world, but there's certain things we can predict. And there's certain traits that we can sort of like lean onto as hotel marketers to kind of get the best out of people there. And I think the real reason you want, and most hotel will tell you, it's like, yeah, we kind of have like this lump season where it's good, and then we have this down season where it's bad. And then what you really want to be doing is sort of like smoothing that curve out a little bit. So it's just like, yes, the good times are always going to be good, but let's make them good. And let's bring up some of those lower periods a little bit. So then it makes it easier to predict like how many staff I'm going to need. I'm not going to all of a sudden be hit with, well, at the end of the week or the end of the month, we've got an extra 100 restaurant bookings. I need to all of a sudden bring on more staff. It makes every decision a bit easier. You can see what revenue's coming in. So from a marketing point of view, it's like, we know what revenue comes in from these activities. That's what we can invest into it.
And hotel managers as well, I think general managers or restaurant managers, everyone will probably agree with me when I say this, that when you do get those busy seasons, that's usually when service drops. So you don't necessarily want to be always oversubscribed and delivering bad service to people. You want to be remembered as a brand that is kept that standard of this is what kind of experience we deliver for people. So that's why, as you said, like predictability is really important. So then you don't get yourself in a situation where you get 10 bad TripAdvisor reviews or bad reviews that potentially will lose your customers for the years to come.
Unless you're one of those lucky hotels which month to month, year round is at 100% occupancy. You know exactly what you got to deliver there. You know your staff, you know your requirements and everything, how many sheets need to be washed every day. But most people aren't in that, most hotels can't do that. So yeah, so it's a really interesting. So I think that overall strategy, get your direct marketing sorted. That'll allow you to get predictable growth, predictable actions. Use the data. Don't be scared of data. If you're not sure about it, ask whoever you're working with, the partners who you're working with. It's like you need to be able to dig into that data. You need to be able to look beyond the vanity metrics and see the ones that really matter. And that'll allow you to spend wisely, put the effort in the right place, put the time and effort in the right places wisely as well. So yeah, good chat. So what's your feedback? Let us know. Comment. Like, subscribe, email, message, shout, social media, whatever it is. Let us know whether you agree with what we said, or if you don't, it'd be good to have that conversation. Share any experiences that you faced or anything that you could, help other people or raise us for future episodes. So thank you for watching.
Catch you in the next one.
Catch you in the next one. Time to check out.
Checking out.
Thank you for watching the Check In and Chat podcast. If you like this episode, remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any further episodes.